Hey everyone. I've been having a lot of fun, recording this season of podcasters. And it's summer, it's hot, and I'm wearing my flowers. For the summer, Marina V, she shares a little bit about her experience in the music business and what has made her so successful. What has made you successful this far in your journey? What risks are you taking? How consistent are you staying? And are you enjoying it? Are you not enjoying it? You need to be enjoying it. Now today with me, I have Marina V. So happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, now can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do in the music business?
Yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I play piano. I have toured a lot. I write songs for myself. I write songs for other people, and I write children's music as well. I've written over 200 songs for children recently, so I do a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's really nice. Oh, so what would you say is your favorite style of music right now, or genre?
The one I gravitate to is basic singer-songwriter pop with some elements of perhaps rock, but most likely it's just most of the time it is singer-songwriter pop.
Okay, pretty cool. Now, can you take us back to a moment when you realized that you really wanted to be an artist? Like, what sparked your decision of being an artist?
It is when I was a kid, I started writing songs when I was very, very little, and I was singing when I was little. But I grew up in Russia in the midst of very difficult period, so even thinking about being an artist was not an option. It didn't cross my mind because life was really hard for most people. We just kind of wanted to make sure we'd survive the next day. For example, like the whole economic system of the country collapsed. People lost their savings virtually overnight. So imagine feeling like that, constantly stressed out. The whole country is stressed out. We had enough food, but for example, we had some humanitarian aid from the United States. So I never starved, nor did I ever come close to it, but we were lacking some nutrients at some point. So in a situation like that, it didn't cross my mind to dream. So I wrote songs, I sang, but I didn't want to share them with almost anybody. So the artist thing came later when I came to the United States as an exchange student, and I realized I was just really inspired by the American dream. So just as corny as it sounds, it's true.
Wow, I've heard, a lot of people really talk about the American dream and moving, from their place of comfort into this whole new world and what it has brought them to. And, hearing your story, Marina, what would you describe, apart from moving away from where you lived, and the American dream, what really inspired you to move to the U.S.?
Well, I didn't move originally by choice. I came here as an exchange student when I was 15. I won a really big scholarship, which really changed my life. And then once I came here and I lived here for a year, that's when I absorbed the notion of American dream, and that if you work hard enough, if you have some sort of talent, anything is kind of possible. At least I've seen many, many examples of this in many artists that I admire.
Now, how would you describe that musical style, and how has it evolved since you started your career?
Well, when I first started, I'm a piano player, so most of the stuff I write is on the piano, some on the guitar. So originally I started as piano, vocal, acoustic stuff, but as I've developed and I started working with other people, and my husband also is a musician, and he is a rock musician, so that's where the rock element comes in, because once in a while he brings in some rock elements to my music in the arrangement and production. So And over the years, it has become more complex. I've met some amazing producers. One of the guys I work with, he's an amazing composer. He's like hundreds of millions of plays on Spotify in his own right as a composer and a producer. And I'm lucky to work with him. He brings whatever sounds I have in mind to life. It's pretty incredible. He's a composer, so has a lot of orchestral stuff and very cool string sections to my songs. And it's just something I did not have starting out. I started out just piano vocal, very, very basic. I still have plenty of piano vocal songs, but now I have these other very beautiful, epic sounding elements, and it's really incredible.
Oh, that's cool to go from, just classical, because I know, most pianists start off with classical. I did that too as well.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Right. I went to 8 years of classical school of music, did all the classical piano, and yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. What would you say are some challenges that you face, with staying true to your sound and identity? I know you heard that. I heard that you said it switches up a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had. I wouldn't call challenges in finding my sound. Perhaps I like so much music, and sometimes like I hear a song like, ooh, I want to have like my arrangement to be kind of like that, and then sometimes I hear something like, ooh, that sounds cool, and that's a total different genre. But then again, I'm a huge fan of the Beatles, and those guys were the OG. Okay, so that's the band that kind of they defined they defied the genre, the notion of a genre, because on the same album that would have such different arrangements, such different productions, different styles of music, but it all was the Beatles. And so anytime I'm in doubt, like, oh, should I like venture into that genre? Like, yes, I should, because it feels right, and nobody can tell me that I can't. There's, so, but sometimes like, yeah, should I guess stick to my kind of my dominant thing but yeah, the Beatles keep inspiring me. I mean, I know for so many artists, they are inspiration, but there's a reason for that. They really laid the groundwork for so many artists. I'm a huge fan, yeah.
Wow. So apart from the Beatles, how do you stay inspired and motivated, like when you create?
Inspired, life inspires me daily, daily feelings and thoughts. And 6 years ago, also I had a daughter, which inspired me in a whole different level. And the thing is, I don't know, for me, like literally anything inspires me. Sometimes I will watch a TV show and I'm like driven to tears, and I have to stop and I have to go write something. So, or, anything, that is everything. I just life, I guess, anything that's happening, anything I'm feeling. How about you?
Yeah, for me, I can totally relate to the whole thing about, my kid. When he came, he completely inspired me to launch out and be different, and expand and do things that I've never done before, like podcasting. I'm here exploring, and just being different. I'm living, like no boundaries. I'm not doing anything illegal, right? But I'm living like no boundaries, right? Because it's like, hey, I brought a kid into the world. Like, that's no joke.
Yeah, if you can do that, you can do anything.
You can do anything. Yeah. Yeah, so that for me, that really inspires me. That keeps me going like constantly. And he's so amazing.
How old is he now?
He's 15 months.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
a little one. Oh,
Yeah,
I was a bit of a mess when my girl was 15 months. She just turned 6.
Aw, that's cute. Aw. Yeah.
How do you find the time to do a podcast? Oh my God.
Yeah, for me, listen, thank God for my husband as well. He really helps me with watching, and my sister, she's supportive as well when she's available. So I have my community that helps me, and community is so big, right?
So important. So important.
Yeah. It really is important. Yeah, now I know that I've been following your work, and getting to know you, and I always do that before I get into my podcasting. So I wanted to know a little bit about how did your career journey start? Was it something that happened in college? Did it just haphazardly happen? How did it all start for you?
My career happened again, as I mentioned before. I was not really thinking of doing a career in music. I didn't think it was actually viable or possible. I was just happy writing songs kind of to myself. And then I met my husband back when I was in college, first year at the university. And he was the first person I played my songs to outside of like my mom and like my piano teacher and like three other people, basically my little tiny family. That's all the only people who knew I wrote songs. So I played some for Nick, and he says, "Wow, you should really do something with this." And he was an aspiring musician, then songwriter himself. Anyway, and at my college, they had a talent show, and I entered and sang to the whole school one of my original songs, and they gave me the first prize, which was amazing. Of course, like it's pretty cool to get a prize, but the most amazing thing of all was some people afterwards, like fellow students, came up to me saying, I remember one girl said she cried. My song made her cry.
Aw.
And I was just floored. I had no idea something that moved me could, have an effect on somebody else. And that girl alone, and a few other students came up saying how much they liked it. But the crying thing, that she was so moved, that was the starting point. My husband encouraging me, and that event.
But do you remember the song?
I do.
Oh.
I do. Ended up putting it on my first album,
Aw.
and it was, my college ended up sponsoring my whole album. After that performance, I talked to the dean of students, and he let me flyer the whole campus and send an email to the whole campus, and like, if you enjoyed my performance, because most of campus was there, if you enjoyed my performance, like, I'm making an album, like, contribute $10, it will help me go to the studio and make it. And I got enough to go to the studio and print my first album.
Wow, that is amazing. Because I know a lot of artists, when they first start out, they're always intrigued about, how can I get into brand partnerships? But you said something that was so pivotal. You have to stay authentic. And, through your music, once you're touching lives and, having other people involved in what you do and staying passionate to it, that's key to being successful, and that was really cool. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Of course. Thank you for asking.
Aw. Now, now let's take a little bit of a turn now on. I want us to touch a little bit on brand partnerships and industry insights. And I know that you said that your college invested into your first album. Now, based on that, and with brand partnerships and collaborations, outside of what you personally write, how did that help you with expanding your reach or visibility? And what was that experience like for you?
Well, I have collaborated with different brands over the years, but first and foremost, my fans, people who like my music, have been helping me with my career. They've been the driving force. I've never had a record label. I've had a publisher for a while and a manager, but never had like a record label who would bankroll my album. So all of my international tours, every one of my 12 albums, I'm finishing my 13th one right now, have been sponsored, funded by my fans. And I go to them and ask them, and I offer them interesting perks and a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so they get to know me better and get to see more of what goes on, besides just like person on stage, which makes it look easy, but they get to see the real life, the real work and the process and of challenges and triumphs. And for brands, I have worked with different music brands. Like I'm endorsed by Yamaha. I use their pianos. I love their pianos. I've had different other music gear that I've used over the years that I've had contracts with. The beautiful guitar behind me was handmade for me as a gift by Ayers Guitars. They saw me perform at NAMM, and they liked me. I said, "Hey, would you like for us? Would you like to represent us, be our artist, and we'll make you some custom made guitars?" Like, yeah, of course, of course. And yeah, so and also I've worked with some. I've done some like influencer type things for many of my tours. I would work with different hotels and say like, "Hey, I'm coming to your town, playing at this and this date. Like, would you consider uh, giving me a free room if I post a lot about it and like write a blog about it?" So I've done a lot of stuff like that as well, and restaurants like that too.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You being resourceful. Yeah.
Well, I always say like it's a saying. That's not just my saying. It's necessity breeds creativity, and I've never had like rich parents or anybody doing it for me. So that's the way I found to do it, and it's been absolutely fun too.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, there's no doubt that you're having fun in the process. I can tell. I get that from you completely. Now, I know a lot of emerging artists, with starting out with building their brand and relationships with brands. And I understood, from you that even on a small scale, you were able to use your fans, with the development of everything. Now, how do you ensure with your brand deals? I know you spoke about the hotels and the restaurants. How do you ensure that it's not so salesy, and it's authentic? It's. Do you understand what I'm meaning by that?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think for each person, they can answer that question themselves because to them, deep down, it has to feel right. Like I'm not going to promote something that I don't even like care that much about. It feels off. You have to really, really like so something you already use and love. Try to find that brand or a version of that brand, perhaps more local version of that brand. One example, we've always had Toyota Priuses cars for the last many years. And I tried to get national sponsorship for my tour, got zero response. I tried and tried and tried. And I already had like songs in TV and like fans and big tours and this and that. Like I already had some accolades and like awards. Got like zero response from Toyota National. Like, okay, I approached Toyota Santa Monica in Los Angeles and I said, "Hey, would you like to sponsor my tour?" And they said yes.
Aw.
You know what I mean? So like, and we promoted Toyota Santa Monica. They, it was great. I would I have liked to have like a big national Toyota thing? Yes, but perhaps I wasn't ready. And well, I definitely didn't have millions of reach at that point of people. So I worked locally and it worked out great and they supported me.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. I know that's
So
encouraging for a lot of people to hear that. Yeah.
yeah, I just think whatever you love and use and whatever you genuinely think, whatever you would tell your actual friend, like at dinner, like, "Hey, I love this thing. You got to check it out." That's how it has to feel with a product. You can't just like, because even if you fake it and make a video about it, people feel it. We all we feel things, right? We know when we're being, sold to,
Yeah.
and nobody wants that. So it has to be really genuine coming from you, whatever you're promoting.
Yeah, I know a big theme, while I listened to you spoke about your experience was consistency. And you got familiar with hearing no, 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 and then, well, voila, your yes, I feel that after a while, a lot of people get so drained and they're just tired of, I really wanted this to happen right away, and they're not consistently going after what they want, even if, I think it's Toyota you said that you were going
Uh-huh.
after at the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah, and it didn't work out, and after, constantly going after it, you got a yes from somewhere else. So that's really commendable. Consistency is something that really needs. to be top and priority for us as artists. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing, I live in Los Angeles. Well, I used to now live an hour away, but I lived in Los Angeles for many years, and I'm friends with many actors, many musicians, and the successful ones will always tell you for every one of their successes, they can tell you 100 no's they heard.
Yeah.
For literally for it's not like you hear five no's and then you get a big break. Sometimes hundreds, right, for one big break or even one little break. I
Yeah.
mean, I think for actors it's even harder. They go in auditions and it's like, I don't know if I could do that, but I admire that. It takes so all of the successful ones. I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions, but people just you gotta not take it personally. It's very hard because we're creative people and we're sensitive, right? We
Yeah.
we and it's very hard. I still struggle with that sometimes, but I just remember that the greatest ones still hear no, even when they've made it big. So, you know, keep banging at that door. That doesn't work. Try the window. I don't know.
Yeah. That's how, sometimes that's just how it is. Yeah. Yeah. So I know for us as artists, that big word exposure is like a and we really don't want to hear it, right? And how did you feel, with your journey, not transitioning, but working as an artist? And was there some balance, or how did you actually manage, unpaid jobs and unpaid brand partnerships, sorry, and paid brand partnerships for you?
You know, most of my brand partnerships have been unpaid in terms of I'm not making money. Like for the tour, they paid me to cover my expenses. I didn't come away didn't come away making money, but I didn't have any expenses after my big tour. They covered my expenses, and I
Ah.
think for brands, the bigger you are, the more you'll start getting paid, right? But the key is, I think, is to truly find something that you're very good at and you can genuinely promote them and yourself. And in the beginning, you're probably not going to get paid, but you will get something for free. Like I did, I've never gotten paid for my hotel stuff, but I've got like 5-star hotels to pay for my nice stays and dinners. I mean, that is like thousands of dollars in value. Oh, I would have spent otherwise staying there, but I stay there for free. So I don't know if you consider that paid brand partnership. I consider it paid because that
Yeah.
was pretty incredible, and I've done it multiple times, and it's been amazing. I know bigger, whatever influences, I'm not even liking that term so much anymore, get, paid for those for posts and promotion. I haven't gotten to do that, to be honest, for hotels and stuff like that. But still, I got a lot of free stays in very, very nice places and a lot of amazing experiences. So I still consider it's a pretty big win.
Yeah. And hey, there's a word called bartering. You decide, what works for you and what can work for the person that you're doing the partnership with. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
considered it. Yeah, I consider it paid too as well. Well, thank you for sharing all of those, things with us. I know that I've been learning as well, a lot about your journey and what has made you, so successful in the whole process. Now, as we're ending, can you let us know what to date, has been a very big accomplishment for you, or like a brand partnership for you, and how has that, navigated you, or any new projects that you may be working on right now that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I've had a lot of amazing partnerships over the years. My favorite one is my Yamaha sponsorship, which I love. They've helped me with my tours in Europe, loaned me tremendous amount of gear over the years, done a lot of nice things for me. My most recent excitement, I got to write a song for the Spider-Man series. Like everybody in the world knows who Spider-Man is, like from the little kid and like in the middle of nowhere in any country to the
Yeah.
oldest person in the middle of nowhere in any country. Like they some and it's really exciting to be a part of something like that. Um, I'm working on a new album. Very excited about that. It's gonna come out in a few months. Yeah, so just I have a lot of stuff, but just very proud. And I try to sometimes when I get frustrated and like, ah, this should more of this be happening, and just like calm down, look at the stuff you've done, just and look at the other people who, whatever, anybody who's accomplished anything worthwhile have faced tremendous amount of obstacles, and it just helps me to remember just to breathe in, breathe out, and keep doing my best, the best I personally can. The rest is out of my control, but whatever you can do in the end of the day, that's all you can really do. You can't influence other people, but what you can do yourself, you and your work ethic and your attitude and your talent, you can control that, right? And you can do the most you can with that. And if I feel like I've done everything I could, that makes me happy in the end of the day because the rest is out of my control. And it's hard to think that sometimes because you feel like, oh, you good like that. I want that. Like, okay, I'll do everything I can in my power to make that happen, whatever that is. I'm just like, but the rest is truly not up to me. But I'll do everything that's up to me.
Yeah, and that's really what is key to staying authentic in everything that you do. Yeah.
Well, thank you
Well,
so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
yes, and I thoroughly enjoyed it as well.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes. You take care now, Marina.
All right.
All
Okay.
right,
Bye.
bye. Bye.